The 2025 NFL season is finally upon us. I've been talking about making football content for a while, dabbling a little last year, but this year I'm trying to go full time all week, every week. But first, I don't look douchebaggy enough to make NFL content. Yeah, that'll do nicely. Wait, hold on, let's get the headphones on. Yeah, because max out the douchebag stat. Look like Dr. Disrespect, hold the pedophilia. My name is Neon Manta, and this is the 2025 NFL tier list. So, without further ado, shut your mouth. Let's talk ball. First up, we got the Arizona Cardinals. They're slowly improving. It seems like they never show any big flashes of greatness. They're just kind of there. Cardinals are like the NPCs of the NFL. You know what? Actually, the headphones are a little too much. I just decided. I think the sunglasses indoors. It's douchebaggy enough. Anyway, yeah, Kyler's decent. Hopefully Marvin Harrison Jr. has that breakout year that the Cards drafted him for. They've kind of, they're just there. They're not really bad, but they're not particularly good either, so I think C tier is fair for the Cardinals. This tier list is unordered, by the way. I'm just gonna put them in the list as they go. The Atlanta Falcons. They were unable to trade Kirk Cousins, but you know what? At least they have the best backup quarterback in the league now. And the most overpaid backup quarterback in the league at that. We got a taste of Michael Penix Jr. at the end of last season. Pause on that statement. Let's see how he fares with the spotlight solely on him. Jeff Ulbrich is the new defensive coordinator, reuniting with the Falcons, and the Falcons are hard focused on defense this year, as we saw with the draft where they got Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. to improve their pass rush. They could turn something around. I would say C tier, just like the Cardinals. I think they're better than the Cardinals, and we'll see how Michael Penix Jr. handles with one full season under his belt after this year. But until then, I think C is fair. They can go in the middle of the pack here. I need to back up in my chair more, and my chair is falling down. I need to get a new office chair. Damn it. Baltimore Ravens. First in both rushing offense and rushing defense last year. They control the run on both sides of the ball. And you know why that is? Because their quarterback is a running back! Fuck Lamar Jackson. I don't give a shit how good his numbers are. I don't give a shit if he's got the fucking highest passing volume. I don't give a shit how far he runs. I don't care that he's a dual threat quarterback. He's a choker, he's a playoff choke artist, he's a regular season merchant, and he will never win anything as long as he's playing the way that he is. I don't care how foolish this makes me look. I don't care that the Ravens have great regular season performances, okay? I don't care that they're going to win their division and make the playoffs and probably make it to the division again. It doesn't matter. Lamar Jackson can never win the big one. As long as Lamar is the Ravens quarterback, they will never win a Super Bowl. And fuck it. They're not gonna make a Super Bowl. I'm calling Lamar Jackson. You heard it here first. Never making a goddamn Super Bowl. Give me all kinds of shit for it in the comments if you want. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Ravens are an A tier team until Lamar makes a Super Bowl and proves me wrong. But until that happens, he's an A tier team. He's on an A tier team. And if you're laughing at me now, we'll see who's laughing come January when Lamar shits the bed like he always does. Now, on to an actual playoff team with an actual quarterback, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, in my opinion, is the best, at the very least, highest performing quarterback in the league right now. We'll talk about Patrick Mahomes when we get to the Chiefs, but if we compare in their direct performances and their volumes, I think Josh Allen's the best in the league, and it's not much of a competition. I feel like the Bills' time is coming soon. They just recently paid Josh Allen a shit ton of money. He was MVP last year. He deserved it, unlike that bum Lamar. No, I will not let it go. Even if their individual offensive weapons aren't world enders, they got James Cook. He's a pretty good running back. But there's not a single receiver. Ever since Stephon Diggs left the team, there's never been like one receiver who's been like, oh, that's Josh's guy. They've got Khalil Shakir, they've got Keon Coleman, they've got Dalton Kincaid. They're all nice, they're all nice in their own right, but they're not on that. Oh, they're on that Stephon Diggs Bills level. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Last year, Bills were supposed to be in a fucking rebuild, and they made it to the goddamn AFC Conference Championship. So, any player that is on the Bills offense is just automatically elevated because Josh Allen is just that amazing a quarterback. The only thing stopping Josh Allen and the Bills from a Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. If at any point in the postseason that the Bills either beat the Chiefs or by some miracle that's proof of a god or a lack thereof, depending on who you ask, Chiefs don't even make it past where the Bills are in the postseason, Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. Like, it's just a gimme at that point. There's not a doubt in my mind, Bills are our first S tier. Carolina Panthers. The future of this team rides on the very tiny shoulders of one man, Bryce Young. He sucked ass his first season, but he showed noticeable improvements at the end of last year. I'm hoping that he can keep up on the come up and not get away from the come down. Tetairoa McMillan is set to become the new wide receiver one, whose name I will hopefully get better at pronouncing without feeling like I'm chewing on a whole bundle of twigs every time I say a syllable. And with Adam Thielen going back to Minnesota and Rico Dowdle coming in to make a kind of interesting running duo with Chuba I can't fucking pronounce Panthers names. I was gonna say Chuba Hubbard. It's Chuba Hubbard. It's the different pronunciations of the U. It's like the hard U and the soft U that fucked me up on his name. Chuba's still good. If I were the Panthers, I would kind of set up like a Gibbs-Montgomery situation with Hubbard and Dowdle, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Rico's just going to sneak in a run here and there. They finished last in points per game allowed last year and rushing defense, so all their hope for this year is based purely on what-if potential and rather than, proven talent. So until I see consistent, marked success or improvement, Panthers are an F-tier team. I have a little bit of faith in Bryce Young, but we shall see. The Chicago Bears. Their new coach is my boy, Ben Johnson, Benny J. Benny Boy, one of the hottest new coach prospects in recent years. His biggest challenge will be turning Caleb Williams from the LGBT QB1 into a genuine QB1. If Caleb improves this year, then Ben Johnson is a fucking offensive mastermind genius, and if he doesn't, then the blame is solely on Caleb, and he truly is a first-round bust. They got new offensive and defensive coordinators in Declan Doyle and Dennis Allen, so it's a whole new management in Chicago. Bears are probably going to be eaten alive by the Lions, the Packers, and probably the Vikings too, even though they're kind of under a new culture with their new quarterback. I would put Bears in the F tier, but out of respect for my Benny boy, I'm going to put the Bears in D tier, but I don't think they're going to be doing much outside of D tier. I'm sinking in my goddamn chair again. I'm going to fucking sit up on my knees on this bitch-ass chair. It looks like I'm standing or floating now. The Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are what happens when you make an RPG character, right? And you spec all your stats into attack and nothing into defense. You get the glassiest of cannons. They got a new defensive coordinator in Al Golden, so maybe they can get that defense turned around from god-awful to competent. If Bengals just had an average defense, they would be an A tier easily. Joe Burrow is the best pure passer in the league. Josh Allen's like the better overall quarterback, but when it comes to just, the pure passing game, I think Joe Burrow is easily the best. He's got the best arm. His connection with Jamar Chase is the deadliest quarterback to receiver connection in the league. Chase, in my opinion, is the second best receiver. The Bengals front office is a bit of a clown circus as they danced around their first round draft pick Shamar Stewart's rookie contract and only recently just settled Trey Hendrickson's contract. My mistake. I'm tripping over my words here. And they only re-signed him for like 1 year, so his ass is gone after this year. He's getting the fuck out. He's taking his money this year, playing well enough to still look like a top-end prospect on other teams, and he's getting the fuck out of there in 2026. Their offensive talent alone would merit them at least a B tier, but until that defense learns how to stop a nosebleed, I think I gotta put him in the C tier. Like, it feels wrong because all of the talent on the Bengals, like, the Bengals offense is S tier. Like, let's not get it twisted. But their defense is so shit that it drags them down and keeps them out of playoff games. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, it's the damning smoking gun. They can put up 6,000 yards and 600 points this season, and it won't matter because they're going to end up 9-8, and they're going to miss the playoffs because they're in a tough division, and the AFC is just kind of stacked. So until they turn that shit around into C tier, they will stay. The Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Cosby is out for the year and will probably be out for life because he's probably never playing a down of NFL football again, because who wants that fucking clown show on their roster? So now, instead of Deshaun Cosby, we get the funniest QB room of the whole year. I wrote this at the time they still had Kenny Pickett and Snoop Huntley, but they since have gotten rid of them, so now it's just Joe Flacco as the starter, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders as the rookies and backups learning behind them. So what I assume is going to happen is Dylan Gabriel is going to take over for Joe Flacco halfway through the year, because unless Joe can go on that 2023 run that he had at the end, or like this latter half of the 2023 season, and go on that great comeback run. But what I think is going to happen is that Dylan's just going to come in halfway through the year and start building up because Shedeur is kind of a bum. And man, between Quinshon Judkins and Isaiah Bond, the Browns can't stop hiring criminals. It fucking writes itself at this point. They got a new offensive coordinator in Tommy Rees, but this team feels directionless right now. They're an easy F tier. Don't even have to think about it. And speaking of no direction this year, the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry's dumbass let Micah Parsons go to Green Bay. Oh, Jerry's so fucking stupid. Oh, he's like actually suffering from CTE while still alive. It's amazing. I mean, it sucks for me because I'm a Lions fan, and now we gotta face Micah twice a year. But it's hilarious for anyone outside of that bubble. Also not hilarious for Cowboys fans who are all on suicide watch. Call your local Cowboys fan. He might be positioning himself at the top of a bridge on the highway right now. The Dak is back. Ghost chomping at his feet. Dak's our hero. Dak just can't be beat. Except for all those times in the playoffs where he was beat. Prescott's back. And they desperately need him, because without him last year, the Cowboys fucking stumbled. Cooper Rush tried his best, bless his little heart, but Prescott, he is not. The biggest issue facing the Cowboys this year is their pitiful run game. It might just be the worst in the league right now, between Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and 2 late-round draft pickups. To be fair, Rico Dowdle exceeded expectations last year, but now they don't even have him, and I don't even think Javonte or Miles are even on that level. So, Cowboys run game, I expect to be one of, if not the worst in the league. On the other side of the offense, though, George Pickens should both increase the receiver depth on the team and the viewer entertainment on the team if he crashes out again, because a Dallas crash out sounds fucking amazing. Mike McCarthy got fired. In his place, they promoted offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. They hired Clayton Adams as their new OC, and they hired Matt Eberflus as their defensive coordinator. Oh, the Cowboys are gonna be ass this year, dude. Jerry's an incompetent old man. They have way worse defense now. Now they're gonna have an even worse one because bum-ass Eberflus is on the fucking Cowboys coaching staff now. You know what? I don't care that Dak is still pretty good. I don't care that Lamb is still one of the best receivers in the league. They got no run game. Their defense is worse. Their coaching room is a joke. Cowboys are going in the D tier. I know it might sound wrong, but they've lost far too much goodwill, and they need to earn my trust back, as well as the trust of their fans and the trust of America in order to be called America's team again. The Denver Broncos, they are looking to be probably the sneakiest good team this year, which is saying a lot because they were sneaky good last year. What was supposed to be their rebuild year, Sean Payton turned that sinking ship right around thanks to Bo Nix and that dynamite defense, which with their new free agents Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga from the 49ers, could very much become the best defense in the entire league. What they really need to really cement themselves as an elite team this year is to bump up that offense. Last year, Broncos did not have a tight end at all on their roster. Nope, don't even try. You can't think of his name because he was never real. You can check the history books. Broncos started last year, no one at the tight end position. But now, they've got Evan Ingram, who I'm really high on. Also, shout out fellow UCF alumni RJ Harvey. Please end up on my fantasy team this year. I actually, what am I saying? I wrote this after my fantasy draft. He didn't end up on my fantasy team, and I didn't change this. God damn it. Well, I hope he becomes the Broncos running back one at least. Because they need to compete with the Chargers, who have, in my opinion, a better defense, at the very least last year. That could probably change this year, but for right now, on paper, Chargers have the better defense to me. And the Raiders, who might give them problems this year between Geno Smith and Pete Carroll on their staff now, as well as, the Chiefs for being the Chiefs. I think Broncos are a B tier with the potential to swing into the A tier once the offense catches up with their defense. My Detroit Lions. Now, as a Lions fan, I have to be unbiased. I have to be as objective as I possibly can be. We're going to the goddamn fucking Super Bowl. Our offense is one of, if not the best in the league. Goff is an elite passer that just has to learn to avoid shitting his pants when the lights are bright once or twice a year. Amon-Ra, we got J-Mo, we got Laporta, now even Tesla looks like a fucking monster receiving core. We got Sonic and Knuckles, they're touchdown machines. Our defense, it's still a little banged up at the moment, but we got a lot of our guys back from injury, including Big Daddy Hutch, my boy, my glorious king. Oh, we're going all the way, baby. Alright, but in all seriousness, to address the elephant in the room, we lost both of our league coordinators this year, and it's going to cause us to regress. That 15-2 season last year, immaculate, beautiful, amazing. We're not doing that this year. We'll probably go more like 11-6, 12-5. I think 12-5 is like a understandable ceiling. We can't expect John Morton and Kelvin Shepard to fill such massive shoes so quickly. And if they turn out to be bad, we might be even more trouble than thought before, especially with the rest of the NFC North hungry and smelling blood right now. If our defense can hold out and our offense doesn't horribly regress, we should still be on top of the division and make another playoff run. How deep it'll be is going to be the million-dollar question. So we'll just have to wait and see. With all that being said, taking everything into account, I gotta be fair, I gotta be objective, and I gotta put the Lions into S tier, motherfucker! We're going to the Super Bowl, baby! One pride, motherfucker! One fucking pride! Sorry about that. The Green Bay Packers. I was gonna say, at the time of writing this before, they lost Jair Alexander, and their defense would be worse. But now they have Micah Parsons, and they're projected to win the division. The Vegas books got them above the Lions to win the division, which I think is crazy talk. I think they're smoking that Parsons pack a little too hard right now. They did draft a wide receiver in the first round for the first time in like 20 years with Matthew Golden, so he's set to be their new wide receiver 1, which they also haven't had for basically 20 years. Jordan Love needs to take a notable step forward this year to really push the team further. But you know what? Even if he doesn't, they can still lean on Josh Jacobs because he was really good for them last year. He's going to be good for them this year too. Even with Parsons on their team now, I still don't think they're better than the Lions. They'll make the playoffs, I'm sure, but they're going in the wild card. I think the Packers are a B tier, but the world is acting like they're suddenly an A tier with Micah. Like the Lions aren't just going to sweep them again. I hope this does not age like milk. The Houston Texans. Stephon Diggs is off to New England to do lines off Cardi B's ass cheeks. Joe Mixon's nursing a foot injury on IR. And Tank Dell, sadly, but realistically, is never going to be the same again after that horrible injury last year. So the Texans traded for Christian Kirk, they signed Nick Chubb in free agency, and they drafted a new receiver in Jaden Higgins, who's most likely just going to be the Tank Dell replacement. I'm so sorry, Tank Dell. You don't fucking deserve this. The guy got fucking shot last year and gets like horrible injuries seemingly every year and got like, I forget exactly what happened. Like he broke and tore like 2 different things, and he's probably not going to come back the entirety of this year. His career might be over. But I fucking pour one out for Tank Dell. CJ Stroud was the hot shit his rookie year, but he suffered a pretty bad sophomore slump last year. So the question is, which Stroud is the real Stroud? Is he a contender like 2023, or is he a pretender like 2024? I say, even though he went to the playoffs, the divisional round last year, just like he did in 2023. So, you know, he also just have a good team around him. He's got a good coach. I want to believe that he is still a contender. His ability to prove himself, though, might be limited by his Charmin soft division, allowing them another free ride to the playoffs. They fired Bobby Slowick, and they hired Nick Caley for their new offensive coordinator job, so maybe they can right the course and start competing with the big heavy hitters of the AFC, instead of just getting that free win the division ride to the wild card round, then getting bounced in the divisional round by the actual contenders. So until they can prove that they can hang with the boys that are currently in A and S tier and will be put in A and S tier later, I think Texans going in the B tier is good for right now. The Indianapolis Colts. Oh mama, the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson might go down as one of the worst, biggest busts of all time. How do you have legendarily awful completion rates, an injury-prone play style, a pussy boy mentality, taking yourself out of a game because you're tired, and then lose a quarterback battle to Daniel fucking Jones? I was going to go on a couple tirades about how no one knows who even coaches for the Colts. Their skill players have low-key hit all their ceilings, and they got themselves a new shiny tight end in Tyler Warren at least. But honestly, who the fuck cares? Their quarterback is Daniel Jones, and their backup quarterback is Anthony Richardson. 2023 first-round pick, Anthony Richardson is the backup on his own, on the team he was drafted on. Colts are fucking F tier. Get the fuck out of here. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Are we ready to admit that Trevor Lawrence is just the female Daniel Jones yet? Because I am. They fired Dougie P and Trent Baalke and then swoozed Liam Cohen away from the Bucs like a whore in the night. But they also got some new coordinators to boot. Jaguars traded up to snag Travis Hunter, who's one of the biggest names of the class. But I gotta be honest, I feel like he's doomed for failure. Like, it was cool that he could play both receiver and cornerback in college, but I think there's a reason we don't really see players like that in the National League. He's asking for a season-ending injury in Week 6. Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud, and he will make T-Law look better than he actually is. And maybe Cohen can turn Trevor's career back around. But I think D tier is fair for now until they can prove otherwise. The big boys. The dynasty. The Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me. Sorry, my stomach was acting up just talking about them, thinking about their Satan run last year. They ran amok with black magic all of last year, but the devil got his due in the Super Bowl where the Eagles basically molested them in front of the entire nation. Patrick Mahomes' numbers right now aren't on the level of the current elite quarterbacks like Allen, Goff, Baker, Burrow, and even, Jackson in the regular season. But he's still playing efficient team football because at the end of the day, he's not competing with other mere mortal quarterbacks. He's competing with Brady, Manning, Breeze, Rodgers, Marino, Montana, etc. for GOAT status. So he doesn't need to be, at the high volume range. He just needs to keep winning games, playing efficient team football, and making the clutch plays when they matter the most. Rashee Rice is currently serving a 6-week suspension to start the year for being a bum-ass criminal. But honestly, that's probably just going to open the floodgates for Xavier Worthy to prove how worthy he is to become the wide receiver 1 for the Texans. So, shout outs to Travis Kelce also for bagging Taylor. God damn my fucking office chair. It's going to be a fucking thing all year. Oh my god. Shout out to Kelce for bagging Taylor, but honestly, given the shakiness of their season of narrow victories to mid-teams last year and their Super Bowl spanking, to me right now, Chiefs are an A tier. They're not. I can't put them in S tier right now. They're not on that elite level they once were. You don't get fucking spanked in the Super Bowl and then you show out to mid teams and squeak by the regular season just to get in the S tier. You don't. You just don't. The Las Vegas Raiders. Geno Smith and Pete Carroll happily reunited once again. And I kind of like it, because they were cooking for that little time when Geno Smith was starting to write back to his haters. Actually, no, he wasn't writing back to his haters, because he was actually doing well at the end of his Seahawks tenure with Carroll. It's better than what the Raiders had before, let's be real. Fucking AOC and Gardner Minshew and, oh my god, who was it, Jimmy Garoppolo? Yeah, fuck that. Geno's the best quarterback they've had in years. And Ashton Genty is going to be a fantasy football wet dream. Under Pete Carroll's lead, he might just go off for 1,800 yards in his rookie year at least. With a competent quarterback and the offense getting a much-needed jab of rejuvenation, they might stay competitive with the AFC West, but they'll still probably be the worst team in that division. I would say D tier for the Raiders for now, and we'll just see how much these new pieces can turn the team around. The Los Angeles Chargers. If you've seen my shorts, you'll know that I'm not a fan of Justin Herbert, not anymore. He may have had efficient play, and you might still even have efficient play, but I think he peaked his rookie year, and he's been coasting off that initial success, and has been, in actuality, mid since the rookie year. And Herbert fans just keep making every excuse in the book for him, even though he's never won a playoff game, and he shit the bed in the wild card game last year. And he's got no excuse this year. Now he's done. He's got Trey Harris and Omarion Hampton in the draft. He's reunited with the guy who helped make him a success with Keenan Allen, and he's got good coaching. He's got good receivers. He's got good coaching. He's got good defense. He's got a good O-line. There's no excuse. If Herbert does not excel this year, then he is, in fact, a mid-quarterback who just peaked in his rookie year. But because that defense is so tough and low-key better than Denver's, And the fact that they'll probably finish second in the division. They'll be competing with the Broncos for second in the division. But I think when the Broncos play the Chargers, and they play each other twice a year, I think the Chargers are going to come out on top both times. We will see, but until then, I will put the Chargers in the B tier. The Los Angeles Rams. Elephant in the room, Matthew Stafford is dealing with a lingering back injury, and if it ends up causing him problems without Stafford, the Rams will not be good. Reports say that he's fine for now and he's going to suit up for week 1, but if that back injury flares up and he takes significant time off, that's going to kill the Rams' playoff run. You know, they may have lost Cooper Kupp, but Devontae Adams is an upgrade in my opinion. Oh god, the light is coming in. Oh no. Sorry about that. The division is probably the closest in competition, but the Rams are dogs, and they do fight hard to the end. They took the Eagles to the limit last year in the divisional round, and if it was not snowing, I think the Rams would have beaten the Eagles. So I think Rams should go into the B tier. If they lose Stafford, they're going to plummet to C, maybe even D tier. Speaking of losing quarterbacks and turning to shit, the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins' ability is directly linked to Tua's brain health. So if he ain't there, they turn into one of the worst teams in the league and pretty much exposed Mike McDaniel as a Tua merchant. They didn't have the most exciting draft this year, and they did acquire Minkah Fitzpatrick and legendary rap star Darren Waller, but they lost Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith just when he was getting hot too. So, not much to say about this team. Into the C tier they go. The Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy is having his true rookie year this year after getting injured in the preseason last year for the whole year. And he's stepping into one of the best situations a rookie could possibly ask for. He's got KOC as his coach, the best receiver in the league, in my opinion, with Justin Jefferson, a solid solid offense outside of Jefferson. Apologies. And he had a whole year to sit and learn from Sam Darnold's comeback success. Hopefully he learned more from those first, 17 games and not that 18th game and that wildcard game. If JJ sucks, it's his fault and no one else's. Jordan Addison is suspended for 3 weeks for substance abuse. Vikings reunited with Adam Thielen, so they'll probably be fine in the interim. The Vikings did absolutely collapse at the end of last season, but I fully blame Darnold for that and not the team. I would have put Vikings in the A tier if they still had Darnold, but since JJ is technically an unknown at this point in time, I think dropping them into the B tier is fair for now. I think I've said fair for now like 10 times throughout this video. The New England Patriots. Drake May gets his first full season start this year, and he showed flashes of greatness last year, so I'm eager to see how he follows through. I hope he gets better. Stephon Diggs will be a great receiving target when he's not 9 inches deep in Cardi's B. So he already has a low-key nice connection with Hunter Henry. The rest of the receiving core leaves much to be desired. There's not a single soul alive, not even a Patriots fan, whose favorite receiver is Demario Douglas. But Travion Henderson is licking his chops right now. He's going, if you go on Discord and you type Sonic in the search bar, you'll get that one creepy 3D model of Sonic going, slicking his quills and hair back. That's Travion licking his chops, getting ready to steal Ramondre Stevenson's job as running back 1. Gerard Mayo was a dumbass, and he made the stupid-ass call of not starting Drake May immediately last year over Jacoby Brissett, so he got rightfully fired after 1 year and got replaced by Mike Vrabel, who is blowing the whistle now for the team, along with Josh McDaniels and Terrell Williams as their new coordinators. Patriots got a lot to prove and some good competition, so I would put them in the D tier. New Orleans Saints. Dog, I don't gotta say shit. Spencer Rattler is their quarterback. Automatic F tier. New York Giants. I was really excited for the Giants season this year when they announced Jameis Winston to be their quarterback. That excitement was immediately doused by hiring Russell Wilson. He's still pretty good, but Jameis hucking it down the field to neighbors every week would have made for the most entertaining football of all time. Jameis would have gotten like 40 touchdowns and 40 interceptions. It would have been amazing. They did pick up Abdul Carter, who was the highest overall rated draft prospect in the draft this year, as well as trading back up into the late first round to get Jackson Dart to build him up behind two experienced quarterbacks. Tyrone Tracy Jr. has also turned into a pretty productive running back last year, so hopefully he'll be taking another step forward this year, and hopefully Cam Scatterbo, that they picked up in the draft this year, can follow in his footsteps. Giants may have escaped Daniel Jones' hell, but this is still basically a rebuild for them. They're figuring things out in the interim while they either build up Jackson Dart, which at this point is the smart thing to do, or they could be really funny and tank for Arch Manning and fulfill the Manning prophecy. So until then, I'd say Giants will go back-to-back F tier on this one. But do we make it for 3 with the New York Jets? The Aaron Rodgers experiment was a failure, and now it's the Justin Fields show. But the Jets did drop one Aaron and replace him with another, because Aaron Glenn from my Lions is their new head coach. Jets had a better defense than offense anyway, so this is a decent fit for them. Glenn took Tanner Engstrand with him from the Lions pass game coordination and made him the offensive coordinator, and Steve Wilkes is the new defensive coordinator. We'll see if this Mason Taylor kid turns out to be a decent tight end that they picked up in the draft, and they still got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall with a pretty good defense and an offense that could theoretically put something together. Even though Justin Fields is basically a diet Lamar Jackson, but with none of the pass game, I would say the Jets are going into the D tier. Philadelphia Eagles, there's not much to say on this one. If Saquon Barkley gets injured, the Madden curse allegations are never getting beaten again. While they did lose some nice defensive pieces in free agency, I still think Jalen Hurts is also a bit of a push merchant. To say that the Eagles aren't in S tier is to be a fool. They're probably... I don't know if they're going to go all the way back to the Super Bowl again, but they're definitely making a deep playoff run. I think, at the very least, NFC Championship. They just got to pray they never run into the Buccaneers, because for some reason, the Buccaneers have their number, and I couldn't tell you why. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers may be washed at this stage of his career, but he's still probably one of, if not the best quarterback the Steelers have had in the past 5 years at least. Rodgers throwing to DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, and Jonnu Smith ought to be something. Plus, with Najee Harris gone and Jaylen Warren being mid, let's be honest, Caleb Johnson has an opportunity to establish himself as the team's new lead back. Mike Tomlin's going to make another pagan blood sacrifice to go above 500 again, but let's see if they can actually make it out of the wild card this time. Probably not, but, we'll see. Steelers are like the textbook definition of a C tier. The San Francisco 49ers. Purdy got paid, and now it's time to beat the game manager allegations because he looked kinda not great last year with many of his Pro Bowl weapons injured. Robert Saleh is back as the team's defensive coordinator, and Clay Kubiak is getting promoted from within to offensive coordinator. Bleh. So maybe they can, with a bunch of their guys back, can still, they need to put last season behind them. They need to keep focusing on the future. Now that he's fully recovered after getting fucking shot, Ricky Pearsall can take a step up in the 49ers offense, especially with Brandon Ayuk still on IR and Juwan Jennings nursing a calf injury. I think he's like week to week right now. 49ers got absolutely raided in free agency this year. Lost a lot of defensive pieces, and coupled with their insane fall off last year, alongside their divisional competition heating up, I think the 49ers fall to C tier, but they could just as easily climb the ranks again, because, McCaffrey will be back, and assuming that weird foreign, German surgery that he got, maybe they'll perform some ancient German magic, and he'll go back to top tier running back status. We'll see. The Seattle Seahawks, they lost Geno, they lost Metcalf, they lost Lockett, they lost Fant, And who do they get in return? They get Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp. Not a total downgrade. Still pretty decent downgrade. It could be worse. It could be worse. And you know what? JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he is a star in the making. Seattle is focused primarily on their offense and the O-line in the draft and looks to be in a rebuild right now as they're going to find their new quarterback of the future. It might be Jalen Milroe, who's going to learn behind Sam Darnold for right now, but maybe Sam Darnold has proven that he can be a decently long-term starting quarterback option. We'll see if he can recreate his Vikings comeback story last year, this year with the Seahawks, without a Justin Jefferson on his team. They also got a new offensive coordinator in Clint Kubiak, so I think the Seahawks are going to win some games, but they're probably not going to make it all the way to the playoffs, so I think for that, C tier is also fair. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their receivers, Godwin and McMillan, might be hurt right now, but they still got Mike Evans. They still got K. Dotton, who's nice. And Baker Mayfield is so good, man. Baker Mayfield is so good. He makes literally who receivers look amazing. So expect that same magic to work on rookie Emeka Egbuka. Bucky Irving superstar year incoming. Rest in peace, Rashad White. We hardly knew ya. The only thing holding the Buccaneers back in my eyes is their coach. I think Todd Bowles is a shitter. And he literally killed Chris Godwin last year. Damaged his career. And because of that also hampered their playoff run last year. Fucked up their their seeding. And now he's doing both coach and defensive coordinator duties. I pray for Tampa Bay. Even though I hate Todd Bowles movements and think he's a shit head coach that gets way too much credit for being not a shit head coach, Buccaneers are a solid A tier. They're good. Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward is the star of the 2025 draft class, Travis Hunter pending. So we'll see what he can do, and in Tennessee, with the starting role, he's going to end up last in the division, I don't doubt. They got to build the team around him. He's going to have Calvin Ridley. He's going to have Tyler Lockett. They're going to help out some. But they just got to... Cam Ward's got to be competent. That's all he needs to be. He doesn't need to be, a superstar. He just needs to be competent. And then as they rebuild the team around him, he can get better, and the Titans can go forward from there. They still have a really good pass rush. They can't stop the run, though. And because they're being the worst team in their division is going to test them greatly, I think it's fair to put Titans into the F tier. Maybe they're deserving of a D tier, but I think they're still kind of in that rebuild state of mind right now. I don't know why they got rid of, what was his name, Nick Westbrook-Ikine. He was turning up at the end of last year. They should not have gotten rid of him, in my opinion. Lastly, we have the Washington Commanders. Jaden fucking Daniels is a superstar, and if he has a CJ Stroud level sophomore slump, I will develop erectile dysfunction by proxy. There is no fucking way a guy like JD, who is both the mobile ability, but also the ice in his veins and the passing game, he's not a running back. He can make runs when he needs to, but he also throws. He throws good. He throws really damn good. They re-signed Scary Terry and picked up Deebo Samuel. Zach Ertz is low-key nice. And they sent Brian Robinson Jr. off in favor of their shiny new toy, Ja'Cory Bill Krosky Merritt. Also getting Laramie Tunsil for the O-line is nice as well. Dan Quinn, turning this franchise around in just a single year, needs to be studied. While they're not quite experienced enough for the S tier yet, for the tippy top, they've definitely earned the A tier. And we'll see if they can put the Eagles to the test enough to either win the division, which is not impossible for them. It's going to be hard, and I think the Eagles are still going to have it down at the end of the year, but they're going to give them a run for their money. Because God knows the Giants and the Cowboys aren't. So, here we go. Here is the completed list. We got the top 3 teams, the Bills, Lions, and the Eagles. We got our bottom 6 teams here. If I had to pick like a bottom 5, if I could bump one F tier team up into D tier, it would not be the Browns, it would not be the Colts, it would not be the Saints. I suppose it wouldn't be the Titans either, because they still have an unknown technically at quarterback. I would say it's either the Giants or the Panthers would be worthy of getting bumped up to F tier. I'll say the Giants, if only because Russell Wilson is a pretty decent quarterback. And as far as A tier teams that can get bumped up into a top 5 conversation, I suppose by virtue of being the regular season merchants, we could put the Ravens in the top 5. And as long as Patrick Mahomes is in the league, Chiefs can also be top 5. So the tiers are unordered, well, I'll reiterate. But if you wanted a top 5 and a bottom 5, there you go. I was thinking about doing a video where I would rank every team in their division based on who I think is where they're going to end up at the end of the season. I'm not going to do that. I don't have enough time to do that, sadly. But in a couple days time, depending on when I get this video up on the second channel here on Neon's Dwelling, I'm going to be starting my weekly prediction videos. I'm going to be doing a format where, I'm not going to get into the whole weeds of it right now, but I'm going to try to do weekly predictions and then weekly reactions before and after every week, respectively. And you know what? Yeah, that's it. Get excited for more football content. I am Neon Manta. I am the football genius. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Oh god, my eyes are shrinking because I had my sunglasses on too long. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm Neon Manta. You'll see me next time.